Let's watch the actual preview.
This is a technological showcase set in the world of The Witcher 4. What you just saw and are going to see now is running on standard PlayStation 5 at 60 FPS with ray tracing. So
I don't believe it.
You'll be playing
60 FPS? This? Bro.
Ciri, a professional monster slayer.
That's good news.
A witcher. She explores the world and hunts down monsters for coin. The region we are in is called Kovir, and you'll get to explore it in a game. Right now, Ciri is investigating a monster, and after gathering new clues, she is heading back to a nearby village.
If this is actual gameplay, look at this, by the way. If your character can do actually this,
and hunts down monsters for coin.
Bro, this is... I know it doesn't matter, but the attention to detail there, and there's probably other instances of that too, that is very cool. With the sword or not clipping through the clothes right now, it's insanely good.
A monster, and after gathering new clues, she is heading back to a nearby village. Alright everyone, meet Kelpie.
The horse?
Let weeds be weeds, Kelpie.
So just like Geralt had Roach, Ciri has her own loyal companion.
We return to town.
These two characters need to feel like one. Since you're gonna explore the world on horseback, riding needs to feel seamless, natural, and just fun.
Yeah, and
Holy
to support
shit.
that, we're introducing multi-character motion matching in Unreal.
Okay.
So Ciri and Kelpie, they're perfectly synchronized when mounting from any angle and speed. And we also support root motion movement on Kelpie, so controlling her feels realistic and grounded. And there are also some really nice improvements to our Unreal Chaos Flesh Solver, and these machine-learned deformations. So you've got realistic muscles moving and stretching under Kelpie's skin without compromising the performance there.
What? There's no way. There's no way. This is too good to be true.
So let's leave Ciri behind for a second and talk about the world itself. So much of the Witcher world is natural, organic, especially Kovir with its dense forest and wild nature.
Yeah, and wild nature is hard. And with nanite geometry, we've freed artists from so many of their old constraints. But we don't want to rest until everything we do in Unreal has that same spirit of freedom. There's always...
Look at how every single tree is different. And I know it might be a small detail, like that's a white tree, brown tree, small, big, very big. They're all different. And it might be generated by AI or something like that, but it's still very impressive. It means there's not a single place in the game that looks the same. Like everything has been generated individually. It is so good. It looks true, dude. I don't trust these things to be optimized. I want to believe it. I want to believe this is optimized, but you're right. It's probably going to be RIP for a lot of PCs. That's the only thing that I hate about these things, is that I know some people will not be able to run the game on their PC. At least in the beginning, and maybe we're going to get some new PCs in the future that will be able to run that easily, or they will fix the game. But good programming can solve the problem, but they need good programming. They need to be A tier. Everything needs to be optimized, but I think it is possible. I think with the current technology that we have today, it is possible. The question is, are they using every knowledge that they have and the technology and taking the time to optimize it, or they release an unfinished product, which is going to lag a little bit in the end? There is that problem, true.
Always more work to do. And foliage is a huge piece of that puzzle. So we are excited to introduce nanite foliage. And
nanite.
In order to achieve gorgeous foliage density everywhere, while still being memory efficient, fast to render, we believe that a new idea was needed. So instead of the same card approach we've been using for the past 20 years, artists should be free to take a nanite approach to foliage, modeling every single leaf and pine needle. And the old LOD tricks of the past, they needed a complete rethink. And in their place, it's a new adaptive voxel representation in nanite. It's volumetric.
Oh, okay. I think I know what it means. It's depending on how far you are from the object, it will reduce the amount of texture that it has. So for example, you have 1 million pixel, we can call them pixels, 1 million pixels to make a tree. They're going to use these 1 millions if you're very close to it. But if it's really far, like that tree right there, it might be using 100 instead. And if it's perfectly optimized, I could see this being working pretty well.
It's fully 3D, it is super fast to render. And these dense clusters of triangles turn into these cubes, which at a distance, they're no larger than a pixel, and they react to the changing light of our dynamic sun and our shadows, and they allow artists to render whatever amount of foliage is needed to achieve their vision without compromise.
And no compromise means how ambitious we are when it comes to bringing our vision to life.
No compromise. Maybe your PC. Maybe your PC is going to take a hit.
No visuals. But more than that, together with Epic, we created faster way to load the world. We can now bring in more content more quickly for the smoothest possible experience as we fly down to catch up with Siri.
The camera movement is so good.
Welcome to Valdrest. So Valdrest is a port town, a hub for fishing, trade and mining. It's one of those places where you can meet shady characters or overhear gossip from other lands. It's also where Ciri took on her current contract. High-tech, let's leave Kelpie here and explore the marketplace and food.
And the missus?
I'm so excited we can finally show you some of this stuff. Let's see what Valdrest has to offer.
Not her again.
Okay, the spit. Oh yeah. This is like in... I remember this in Assassin's Creed. When you were walking through people and your character would actually just push the people a little bit instead of just walking through them. This is a very cool thing. I like this.
Guys, notice how responsive the world is.
That was rude.
Character actions directly affect what happens around you, sometimes even setting off chain reactions. Everything is working together. Oh, look at this poor gentleman being taught how to fly by an angry innkeeper. That's what happens when you cheat at Gwent.
Last of it, is it? Ready to wait.
Silver, round ones, jingling in the purse.
You guys missing the egg.
So this is the guy who gave the series quest his own. Like you probably suspect, he has his own agenda in all of this.
You off your tits again, Wilfred.
That's torture, man. What the fuck?
A typical day's toil.
Who in? With Churess. One using my wagons. No eternity is taking that damn salt to arrive.
I found them. And, well, suffice to say, they'll not reach you. As for the salt, I found not one speck. I presume this comes as no surprise to you. Now. Kavir's smuggling trade is of no concern to me.
Shush, shush, shush.
The manticore that flattened your cart and devoured your men, quite the opposite.
Manticore? No, them winged hellspawn dwell in the arse end of Creighton, not here.
While Siri decides what to do about that merchant, let's take a look at the character technology that powers this marketplace. Why don't we listen in on these fishmongers? They're selling their wares, chatting up customers.
Morning catch fishes, won't find none fresher.
Forgive me, ladies, after
You know what would be insane is that he would actually sell you that fish. Like you can take the fish and it actually disappears from the crate. That would be insane.
Get this cleaned and got it for you. You mind, dearest?
Is that actually gonna happen?
Something more. Got mackerel cod, all
And there is tons of tech at play here, even in a simple market stall. Metahuman tools, improved Unreal Smart Objects,
Oh my God!
and more.
Yeah, and
Look!
all of this exists to make sure that the gap in quality between Siri and NPCs is as small as possible.
Yeah, and closing that gap, it's not just about fidelity, right, but also authenticity. They
Yeah.
should react to changes in the world around them.
But the prisoner in Pillory isn't exciting enough for Valdrest.
I don't think people will appreciate that because nobody will really see that this is happening. But the attention to detail is insane.
Grab everyone's attention with a circus. But the great performance deserves a huge crowd though. Let's crank it up.
Oh,
You
okay.
are seeing tons of optimizations here to many of Unreal systems, including an entirely new Unreal animation framework, allowing us to fit easily in our 60 FPS budget, not just in rendering, but also with room to spare on the game thread. Over 300 animated skeletal mesh agents all going about their business. And the whole point is to leave breathing room for developers like you to introduce the gameplay and the systems that your players expect, empowering you to make your worlds come to life without Unreal standing in your way.
You are right.
Okay.
That's the open world RPG that we're making. But before we wrap up, how about one final check-in with Siri? We are making this game to be the most immersive and ambitious open world Witcher game ever.
I see that.
And we are making this a reality thanks to our work on Unreal with the team at Epic. I think what we are doing together is going to bring in a new generation of open world RPGs, and I'm so proud of what we accomplished so far.
We are too.
Oh, hopefully, man.
So we're almost done, but before we go, here's a small gift for all Witcher fans. A first look at Lanexeter.
Holy damn, look at this. Oh yeah, I'm sold.
With what?
I don't think we have a release date yet though. But with this, it's what, like early 2026, maybe mid? Maybe quarter two?
Thanks, guys. Seriously, it looks amazing. And we've also barely scratched the surface of what's coming in Unreal 5.6. So here's Julien to tell you even more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Framework Engineering, Epic Games, okay.
Hey everyone,
Senior Director.
Great to be here in Orlando. I spent a lot of time on this demo, so I'm happy to be the one to talk about what went into the 5.6 release. An open world like that was just the perfect content to focus on our main goal for the release, which was performance. We want the engine to scale to large and rich worlds. We
It
want
needs to at this
preserve
point, look at
graphics
that.
quality. And of course, we want to deliver high frame rates that you and your players expect.
Yeah.
So let's check it out, starting with rendering. If you all remember, when we released Nanite with UE5, it supported static geometry. Last year, we brought skinning to Nanite. And now, we're working on Nanite foliage. The only way to have a forest that looks as good as this one is to use 3D geometry for all parts of the trees, just like we do for everything else.
Okay.
However, this is a crazy amount of fine geometry, so we had to rethink how trees are created and displayed. To
For
create
sure.
them, we developed Nanite assemblies. These 28 little parts that you see are all that we use to build all the spruces from the forest.
Okay, makes sense.
Thousands of time and used like building blocks to assemble trees in different ways.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And as you probably noticed with the wind effect, they even support skeletal animation, which runs on the GPU. Thanks to assembly, we greatly reduce the storage, the runtime memory, and the rendering cost. Then, to display an entire forest, the challenge was to preserve fidelity and performance from any distance. Let's check up close the level of detail we're talking about here.
Bro, is that necessary? Probably. Dude.
Lots of details. But this triangle representation is not the most efficient when far away, due to the amount of overlapping.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why we made an adaptive voxel representation.
Oh, yeah.
But in reality, you'll never see those voxels this close, since when we move the camera back, they're barely a pixel. Nanite foliage is almost done. We are moving it to the main line as we speak, and it will be available for everyone in 5.7. Another thing I would like to share is that ray tracing and Lumen now run more than twice as fast, with no visual trade-off compared to when UE5 was released. And because of that, we can now hit 60 FPS on consoles. And finally, we rewrote the rendering pipeline to run asynchronously, so you can increase the richness of your scenes even more. Now let's talk.
But I think that's a good thing. If they're able to reach 60 FPS on console, it means on PC, we should also be able to reach 60 FPS, right? Because what I think I heard that, I'm not sure if I'm right. Maybe it's going to change in the future, maybe even with their technology that they're going to use. GTA 6, they said that they would only be able to run at 30 FPS on consoles because they were not able to reach that 60 FPS, but they still wanted to have that realistic look of what GTA 6 is. So if they are able to reach that 60 FPS, it is probably doable. Maybe it's just a big selling point, but hopefully on PC, it's not easy to run, but it's very doable for a not too high-end PC.
Talk about chaos physics. For chaos cloud, we improve our cloud-to-cloud constraint solution. This removes a lot of collision evaluation when garments are piling up and interacting with each other. Even for complex setup like Seriescape, we hit a sub-millisecond budget on PS5. With Chaos Flash, we introduce procedural muscle activation to make deformation and motion more natural.
Look at this, man.
Your artist will still have control over tetrahedral simulation and train ML models.
I've never cared for graphics. I care for graphics, but you're right that at a certain point, I can even like show a paint real quick. Like if this is fun, I'm really not good with paint. And this is the graphics. Obviously, the graphics will increase the fun at the start, but it very quickly plummets. And I think Witcher is like here. While it could be there, and the level of fun would be about the same. The level of fun would have a very little. Maybe it's even worse than that, but like there's a certain point where yes, if the graphics are so bad, you will not have fun. Like this is an area where if the graphics are so bad, the fun is going to reduce drastically because the game just doesn't look good enough. But when you are in that whole point, I don't feel the graphics matter. Because the gameplay stays the same, the world is still beautiful to look at. But I still think, I think it's fun to see though. These guys are passionate about their game. They want to make it perfect, and it looks good. But yes, it might be too much graphics, especially if it runs badly on PC. My only concern is that if some people are not able to play the game because it's too hard on their PC, it's going to suck because the graphics are too high anyway. But if it's doable with even a mid-range PC, that would be amazing.
We now support the baking of fluid surface data into lightweight assets to be played back at low cost. This is going to give you high-fidelity water.
Bro, no way there's a rock moving. Right?
This is going to give you high-fidelity water.
Okay, that was probably just him moving it.
Of real-time fluid simulation.
Oh, because he moved it, the water moved?
Fidelity water.
Bro. Okay.
without the performance cost of real-time fluid simulation.
Like if you cut a tree and it falls down in the water's gonna like start going around it. That would be insane.
For animation,
Style
we
is
work
better.
on both
Yeah.
performance and fidelity. Here, you can see how Siri and Kelpie match up in their interaction.
I mean, we could argue that this is a style too. But yeah, I see what you mean. When you have like a form of art, when you deal with your game, yeah, I can see that. True. Like in WoW, yeah, there is a different artwork that works with the genre, that works with the gameplay, that works with the world. And I would not see World of Warcraft with these kinds of graphics. Even if they make a WoW 2 at some point, I would like them to update the graphics to maybe something a little bit more advanced, but I would not like them to go in realism. I would like them to stay in the cartoon version that they have right there. I think it fits the world perfectly. It really does.
Well, that works no matter the angle of approach. That's our Molds character motion matching solution.
Oh, I see what he meant.
also
Okay,
had-
so no matter where you come from on the horse, your character grabs it differently, and okay, there's like 6 different, and maybe there's more, I don't know. Because you can maybe come back from the back, you know, yeah, like you jump on top of it. I mean, it's not easy to do in real life, but I can see that in a video game.
Molds character motion matching solution. We also added motion matching in Sequencer to build stitch tracks. With them,
Yeah.
you can seamlessly transition from gameplay to cinematic.
That's
Also,
really cool.
We now have a secondary layer of animation driven by physics in Control Rig. We used it in Kelpie's rig to drive the mane, the tail, and the saddlebacks.
Bro.
And now, I'm happy to announce that all these features are already integrated into our new Unreal Animation framework, which we are releasing as experimental in 5.6. We built it with performance first in mind. Animation evaluation are now running in parallel off the game thread, which was our bottleneck. And for the other character systems that are just as costly, like movement, avoidance, state tree behaviors, we also move them to worker threads. This is really going to help you create scenes that are crowded and lively. Streaming has always been a big deal regarding performance. And the 3 biggest improvements we made are physics state creation, which now runs async, improve runtime PCG for ground scatter on GPU, and a new FastGeo plugin to stream static geometry. And just to take a different example, in City Sample, the streaming time was cut down by 90% while moving at high speed.
Nice.
We focus on a lot of areas for performance in 5.6.
That literally looks
and
real.
mobile is no exception. We work on better defaults and scalability settings for mobile and minimize the default package size. We
I
also
don't really
improve
care
our
about mobile,
workflows
to be
with
honest.
a UI refactor of the viewport toolbar and content browser,
Wait.
on-device
never mind.
iteration workflow, and a mobile preview solution.
I thought it was about to edit his game on his phone. I was like, bro, that there's no one editing a video game on his phone. There's just no way. Okay, he's just showing the game.
So there you go. Unreal Engine 5.6 is all about performance, and it's available today.
Damn. Hopefully that will help new MMO, maybe even smaller MMO.
Please go and
To
enjoy the Tech
I'll let
Talks
him
and
finish.
session we have for you guys, and come chat with us. And now, please welcome Chris from the MetaHuman team. Thank you.
Well, that was cut abruptly, but yeah. Hopefully that leads to better MMOs, better quality MMO that has no performance issue from a smaller studio, for example. This is like the deep end. Like this is the most optimized that you can probably become. Like everything is optimized, everything is super realistic. But like you can still make a game with lower graphics that has incredible performance with this. That would be very cool. For now, it looks really good. It looks incredible.